Yeah, I just made a couple of minor changes. I want to see if I can get down into the tens.
All right, live here on WEC TV. Brett's in the car right now, and Long Beach testing is underway for the 1.6 hours of Long Beach. I'm Ron Caranci. We're testing here at Long Beach as Brett is now in the car in the WEC Racing Simplified eSport machine in LMP1 class. Here at the beautiful Long Beach circuit here out in Southern California. Currently, local time, Long Beach, it's 7:47 a.m. in the morning as the testing has begun early. We also have one of the Italian drivers in the Sicania Motorsports machine, Roberto De Filippis, in the number 5 Sicania Motorsports Nissan LMP1. And he's currently right now the two drivers sitting on top of the charts. His time showing up there. Currently the track temperature is 14 degrees Celsius, air temperature 29 degrees, a beautiful sunny day here, just starting out here in California. Testing session number 1 for the 1.6 hours of Long Beach. It's going to be a good race. It's going to see a lot of action, probably a lot of carnage, because multi-class racing here at Long Beach with the closed street circuit, and the bumps and character on this street circuit here is going to give us some very exciting racing, I think, but a lot of it's going to also be a lot of crashes involved in here, and we're going to probably see a lot of virtual safety cars out there. Currently running the R Factor 2 simulation here from 397 Studios and ISI as Brett comes down the back straight here with these Rebellion 600 horsepower machine in prototype 1 class. Oh, second last corner got a little sideways there. Come back to the hairpin. Out of the hairpin, tries to make that corner, almost tags the left side of the car on the wall. Down the front straight here at Long Beach. We'll see what kind of lap time Rick can post up. Looks like it's under its best time so far. His last lap was a 1:12.541. A lot of rubber laid down here from some of the drivers in pre-testing last night. As you can see, the track is really rubbered up pretty good. Obviously speeds in upward about 190, 195 miles an hour with the LMP1s, maybe 150 to 160 for the GT class. Probably in between that with the LMP2 class. We're going to have a big field here. And it'll be live on WEC's eSport TV, live on our website. So we don't want to bother Brett in the car right now, but Brett's in here live with us, and we got him mic'd up in the car. So we can definitely talk to Brett whenever you feel like it. And he's just lapping now, trying to get the car set up, because he's going to be racing with Reno DeLauro from Ontario, Canada. And Brett here is from Australia, myself from Ontario, Canada, and Bob Merlino will be driving the LMP number 1. Sister car to the LMP number 27, and he'll be driving that full race himself. And I think we got Rick Hyde driving one of our prototype 2s in the eSport TV's prototype 2, and so Rick might not be in the booth with us. Brett will be at some point in the race when he hands off to Reno, but Rick, the only time we'll see Rick probably if he doesn't make it through the whole race, he might join us in the broadcast booth. So Brett seems to be doing pretty good here. Hasn't crashed the car into the wall yet. And don't know if he's running, I think he's running the Ultra Softs. We get the new tire compounds here for Long Beach. Ultra Softs, and then you got the soft compound, the medium compound, and then the harder compound that you probably won't want to use here at the in the sprint race. It's only an hour and at 1.6 hours, which is 100 minutes. And the current race time for the start time of the race in local time, the in-race server time is going to be 4:30. It's going to be a 4:30 start. So we're in the twilight. We'll be in the twilight. I mean, late afternoon. It won't be twilight there. It'll be late afternoon, and we'll see what happens. Also, it's realistic weather on the server. So if it ever does rain, these guys are going to have a hard time getting around this track. Most of the guys right now are setting up for soft springs for this one here because it's a bumpy track, and probably very soft tires, as they gotta have to make one pit stop. That's mandatory in the 1.6 hour race. They can do whatever they want in the pit stop, but they gotta make that one pit stop. So they're definitely going to be one pit stop per car. And again, multi-class racing with 42 cars on this circuit. It's going to be hectic. Excuse me. All right, I'll see what Brett thinks about the car. Brett, you got me. It's Ron Caranci up in the booth.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the car so far? You got it all set up? You think you make a few more changes?
Getting there. It's nice and quick, but I think I can get more out of it. I'm just gonna tinker with a couple of little things and see how we go with it. I'm just finding it as the tyres are heating, but as I get a bit of heat into them, the rear of the car becomes a little bit unstable.
And how's the track feel? Is it rubbered in enough that the car was handling okay? But other than the points you made there,
apart from there's plenty of rubber out there, but yeah, I've just got to play with some settings to try and get the car to ride this very bumpy surface a little bit nicer, because there are a lot of bumps out there.
So you're going to be playing with the shocks and springs and trying to get that to ride perfectly for you.
Yes. At the moment, I'm just playing around with a couple of wing settings, and once I'm happy there, I'll move to the to some shock settings.
Yeah, Roberto De Filippis just pulled off a 5:45 on that one there, on that last lap, as we're watching Roberto De Filippis right now, as Brett is going to be back on the track. And Brett's back on the track to try out some of the changes he just made in the garage. Testing here at Long Beach for the 1.6 hour Long Beach sprint event here at WEC. R Factor 2 WEC. R Factor 2 is the sim. WEC, World Endurance Championship, here at rfactor2wec.com. Head over to the website, sign up. A lot of goodies going on. We got a stock car series coming up soon. We got an IndyCar series, an actual 1998 nostalgia IndyCar series of the 1998 season. So plenty of room in the IndyCar series. So come on over and join up. And we're only getting bigger, and everything is going to be bigger and better this year in 2018 for the WEC R Factor 2 crew and eSport TV. We'll bring it to you live. So Brett's currently out there now. He did his outlap on the second run here. It's currently timing now on this run. Looks like he's up on his second sector. He's gone green in the second sector. Let's see if he can keep the green in that second sector. Nope. Looks like it went red in the second sector. Let's see here what happens in the final sector if we can get it. Looks like he's out.
Just on half a second down.
Yep. 112.119 on that last lap there. All right, we just got 1 more degree Celsius on the track temperature. So the track heat up 1 more degree Celsius. So they are getting, even with 2 cars on the track, and it's starting to heat up a little bit more now. Local time 7:57 at Long Beach a.m. in the morning. Here at Long Beach, local time here where I'm broadcasting from, 10:58 a.m. in the morning. I'm on the east coast of North America, and Brett way over in Australia, down under. And Brett right now is probably at 2 a.m. in the morning where he is. Racing sim racing at 2 a.m. in the morning. He's got to be a brave man to do it. All right, next lap here. Looks like 112.3 on that last lap. So far on the chart, Roberto De Filippis, only 2 drivers out there right now in the Scania Motorsports machine, number 5, and Brett Gray in the eSport Endurance Racing Simplified machine here at R Factor 2, the number 27. We took that number last season there, number 27, won the championship with it, with a little nostalgia paint job in a prototype 2 with the old 1979 to 80s Formula 1 of Gilles Villeneuve running the Ferrari. So we have actually stuck that 27 on the second prototype 2 that Brett's driving here. The second prototype 1 actually in P1 class that Brett's driving here. The car we run in endurance racing is the car number 1. Since we won the series last year, we had the option to pick the number 1 for the series, and we picked that one on our first car. Got a couple of LMP2s and some new drivers to the team as well. In LMP2, got to get to know them. As soon as they get on the track, maybe later tomorrow, might get some laps in. Brand new track here at Long Beach, redone for R Factor 2, taking one of the IDT tracks there and modifying it for our R Factor 2 race here. Changed rumble strips, changed grip levels, billboards, things we need over here for the endurance racing. Added 42 pit stalls to the to the long pit road. Should be fun and exciting. We're definitely going to see some action, I guarantee it, here at Long Beach on March 24th. Also want to bring up to our viewers, if you want to broadcast of R Factor 2 in your own league, you can contact us. Our email, rfactor2wec at gmail.com. Give us a shout, give us an email, we'll get back to you. Let us know what your plans are and what you want done with your league and your mod, and we'll give you a quote on what it's going to cost you to get our WEC eSport TV team broadcasting for your event. Oh, Brett got a little damage there as he went around. And back to the garage he goes. Let's have a look at Roberto De Filippis now as he's on the track in Scania Motorsports. Still on top of the charts with a 110.5. I'm sorry, 110.645. And trying to better his time right now. The track seems to be changing a little bit. Letting a little bit more rubber down, but with only 2 cars out here at testing right now. Out of the 42, it's We'll probably see a little more during the day. So let's talk to Brett. See, Brett, you got a copy? It's Ron in the booth.
Yeah.
All right, so how did the car feel on that second run?
In the first and second sector, really nice. Like I was picking up like half a second on my best time, so I would have been down into the mid-10s, but it's really, really nice in sector 1 and 2. It's nice in sector 3, but I just can't get it out of the final turn hairpin. I'm actually, by the time I'm coming out from, I'm going from half a second up to quarter of a second down. By the time I come out of the hairpin, I'm losing it all on that hairpin.
So you figure you're probably going to need something from that last corner. Get out of that last corner, and maybe think about adjusting the camber, maybe the rear camber or front camber on the left side to get you out of there better.
No, it just needs to bog down on exit. I just can't get the power down when I want it to. It's just bogging down on the traction control.
Oh, okay, so the traction control. Well, yeah, when the traction control kicks in, it just kind of bogs down.
Yeah.
I got you. So I figure if the traction control is bogging down on you coming out of that corner, you probably need to lower the lower the power setting on that, unlock the differential a little bit so the outside tire takes a little more, and when it does, the traction control kicks in a little bit. It might help, but you're driving the car, so we'll see what happens. You can maybe try a tire pressure adjustment in the rear, maybe raise the tires up a little bit, get a little bit of slip there, because if it's going to hit, the traction control is going to hit on you in that corner anyway. You might as well get a little bit out of it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not driving the car, so I can't tell where you're actually getting the power down coming out of the last corner.
Well, my best time's an 11.4, which I'm happy with. The car, it's quite stable to drive. It's not doing anything erratic on you. So it's stable, it's easy to drive, and although we're probably second to a second and a half down on the best times, when it comes to race around this track, the fastest time isn't gonna win you the race. You need a stable car, and hopefully stay out of trouble, because I can see there being a number of accidents here.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's definitely one of those things where you're going to get into traffic most of the time during the race with that many cars on the track. So probably want to get your car set up for the front straight. I think we were discussing that before.
Yeah.
Not really worry too much about lap times. A matter of just being able to get by a car as quick as you possibly can on one of the straightaways. It's probably going to be impossible to outbrake one of the cars that are in your own class when you're running almost virtually the same speed.
Yes.
So it looks like Roberto, we got some telemetry on him, 190, 191 miles an hour before he hits the first corner.
Question. Have you got telemetry? I wouldn't mind knowing what I'm hitting before
I got telemetry on here, so I can find out what you're hitting. They're hitting between 189 to 191. I think you're about the same too. So I can get you when you're out.
Okay.
So when you start to come out, I'll get you. But Roberto here is back. Well, let's look at the back straight when he gets down the back straight. He seems to got a pretty good line going now. So we'll see what happens here on the back straight. about 167 miles an hour down the back straight for Roberto before he hits the binders. He's been on for a few laps though, so I figure his first few laps he ran were probably the faster set of laps. All right, his last lap was a 111.438, so he's kind of in the 111s most of the time here. His fastest, best lap so far was a 110.645. Looks like he's going to stop on the track there and exit himself back to the pit. So back in pit garage here, and we'll check some telemetry on you when you decide to enter. Track temperature 15 degrees Celsius, air temperature at 29 degrees Celsius. It's actually 7:07 in the morning at local time. 17 minutes left in this session, in this practice session. We'll carry on this last 17 minutes. We'll keep the session going until the end of the 17 minutes, and then we'll sign off after that, and we'll see you back later this afternoon for maybe some more testing, and WEC TV will probably be live again with a few more cars on the track. But we'll take this rest of the session here. It's 16 minutes 45 left in this session. We got 2 cars currently practicing here, trying to get their cars set up for the sprint race. Well, we can call it a sprint race, but it was a 1.6 hour race here, scheduled for March 24th, with 42 entries. Multi-class racing, GTLM, LMP1 and LMP2. Looks like Roberto G. Filippis is going to take off, and he's done racing, and looks like Brett is the only one left on the track here. So we'll get some telemetry from Brett, and when Brett decides to get out and make another run there with 15:53 left in the session. Well, let's have a current look at the track here, as WEC.com brings you live practice here of the 1.6 hours of Long Beach here on WC Esport TV. As we get a few shots here of the track. Nobody currently out on the track right now. Beautiful day here at Long Beach Circuit. It's a street circuit. A lot of bumps on the track. Very good character to this track, but very tough to drive because of the concrete K-rails around the track surface. So drivers are going to definitely have to be on their toes and watching their P's and Q's here, that's for sure, or they can definitely be part of the barrier very quickly and find themselves out of the race. I want to thank Gary Cross, the machine at Gary Cross Computers, for doing the track for us and helping us with the pit stalls and getting everything ready for this race. Gary's going to be helping us out as an administrator. He's going to be watching the corners at this race. He's going to be a marshal at the track, keeping the drivers all in order, I guess you can say, long arm of the law, as we had to nail a few guys last race in the 12 hours of Sebring, as we had to hand out wow, it was a lot of penalties. We were doing it for 4 days. We were on that penalty, I guess you can call it the penalty crew. We were on there for about 4 days straight, maybe 10 to 14 hours a day, trying to figure out heads or tails of what we want to give these penalties to. A lot of guys violated the pit blend line at Sebring, and it cost them. It actually cost one of the teams second place. So you know, it's not worth getting penalized. Stay within the boundaries of the rules, and you can definitely have yourself a good race and finish well in the event and pick up a few points. So let's see if we can check in with Brett. Brett, you got me? Ron Caranci in the booth. Looks like Brett stepped away from the garage area there. So we're going to give you kind of a look around the car here. We'll get you a close-up view and a little bit of a look around the car here. As you can see, the Rebellion, number 27, sponsored by WEC Esport TV. Brett Gray piloting that machine today. We got Reno DeLauro, another driver, will be taking over. As you can see, a beautiful job here on these cars. And we're using the URD mod right now, but making it a few adjustments for WEC so we can get it working. This is the Rebellion. It's a rear wheel drive, 649 horsepower machine with 544 feet per pound of torque. And this is one of the tougher cars that is to drive on the track. The car you've seen before that Roberto Di Filippo was driving, the Scania Motorsports machine, that had 636 horsepower and 521 feet per pound of torque. But it was a four-wheel drive machine, and it was a lot easier to navigate the corners with that when it's pulling from all four tires. This one here, the drivetrain pulling from the rear end only, is a lot tougher. You get a lot more wheel spin on the car, a lot tougher to drive. So we picked the beast to drive, and we'll see if we can get it to the finish in the race. We finished one race so far out of the two. He didn't have too good a run at Daytona. The 24 hours there, we were out really early, as Bob Merlino and Reno DeLauro picked up the car and found themselves out pretty early in that race, as Reno and Bob didn't really get a chance to go past about the 3-hour mark there. It was a shame because they could have got a few points, but then it got a little bit better at Sebring, as me, Reno, Bob, and Brett got in there and got a few points at 12 hours of Sebring. So that's a good sign for the team, and hopefully they're going to carry on some points in this race here. Bob is going to be carrying on with the 1 car. He's going to be driving the whole 1.6 hours. And Brett here with the 27. This is the first time actually we're going to see the 27 driven, piloted by our guys here, as we used the 27 briefly in one of the last races there, as we had some new drivers we were testing. No points on the 27 car, but we'll see if we can get the sprint points here, if we can follow up and maybe put that 27 in the sprint championship. It's combined championship though. It's we got a combined championship, sprint and endurance. We got endurance championship and a sprint race championship. So they all race together, sprint races and endurance races, but they're combined. There's an overall combined championship and some sprint champions. Oh, it looks like Brett's coming back on the track now, and we'll see what happens with Brett here. Get some telemetry on him. He's got 9 minutes and 51 seconds in the session here, and we'll see what kind of telemetry he has compared to what Roberto Di Filippo in the Scania Motorsports number 5 Nissan had in LMP1. Now I got it in miles per hour, so I can I'll flip it over to kilometers per hour too, but we'll see what they got in miles per hour, then I'll flip it over to kilometers per hour, and we'll see what he's running in kilometers per hour. So Brett just coming out of the pit lane now. Long pit road here. It's going to be a big gamble if you get penalized and get a drive-through. Definitely going to lose spots if you get a drive-through in the race. This is a very long pit lane, and with 42 entries on the field, you're pretty much not going to catch up to where you were in your class, trying to get through a bunch of cars, because there is not a lot of space to pass on this track. So as Brett's getting his outlap, just getting up to speed. Got the beautiful circuit here at Long Beach. It's the West Coast Monaco of IndyCar racing, as they call it. It's a premier event here. They have the Toyota Grand Prix at Long Beach, and we're racing here with the WEC R Factor 2 crew. Testing currently for the 1.6 hours of Long Beach here at the rfactorgwc.com. and Ron Caranci along with Brett Cray right now, currently on track and mic'd up for us in the car so he can give us some feedback on what's happening with the Rebellion number 27. All right, Brett Gray's hitting 200 miles per hour on the front straight, so he's 9 miles an hour quicker on the front straight than the car of Roberto De Filippis. But you guys, you can see it looks like it's a little harder to hold in the corners. He must be running very low drag on the car. But he's managing to get it around. He's actually wheeling that car around on this hot lap. Sorry about that. Had to get rid of a pigeon who flew on the top of the booth. Had to knock him out of the window, and he was squeaking and had some pigeon droppings near my coffee, so can't have that in the booth. Anyway, here's the lap for Brett. Let's see what he's got here. It looks like he pulled off a 111.526 on that last lap. And again, you see the telemetry is running 200 miles an hour before he hits the binders going into turn 1. That's a big head of speed he's got going in there. But as you can see, he's got straight line speed, but the corner speed is where the lap time's coming from. And he doesn't seem to be able to get the power down in the corners. He's sliding the car a lot. So he's going to give up that corner, because he figures that nobody's going to get through the corner when they get back on the straight. If there's a place to pass, that extra straight line speed and that extra bit you might get down the front straight, maybe even on the shorter back straight that he's coming up on, might be able to pick off a car that doesn't have that downforce setting and has more downforce and take line away going into the next corner. So that's the payoff. Payoff is trade-off is the corners for the straight line speed. And not a bad gamble if you're thinking of 40 plus cars on the track. Looks like he slid the hairpin there. He couldn't get around where he wanted to, and that'll cost him a little bit on the lap time. And the last lap was 112.220. I think he slid the car around the hairpin. That did it there. Let's see what he's hitting here again. Well, 198 that time, 197. So I'm going to flip it over into kilometers per hour for you, and so you can have a look at it. Let's see what we got here. Get the settings for kilometers per hour. There we go. Now we'll see it in kilometers per hour now. So we'll see what he's actually hitting kilometers per hour. He was definitely hitting earlier 320 kilometers with the 200 miles an hour down the front straight. Definitely around 320 kilometers. But he's a little bit of a drop off now because the tires are starting to heat up after a couple laps, and they start to drop off a little bit right away after about 2 or 3 laps on these ultra softs. All right, hairpin coming up now. Now we'll get telemetry on the front straight for you in kilometers. Last lap of 112.245. .322 kilometers on that last one. Look out, and into the barrier and just demolishes the car. I think he went in way too hard there, Brett, and just ended up ripping that car apart. That's why he probably got the 322 kilometers and went a little hot going into the braking zone. So as Brett brings it back to the pit, gets a fresh car. Tries to come out again and try to see if we can get another lap in here before the time's up here. He's got 3 minutes and 38 seconds left in the session. He might get one more lap in. Anyway, we're coming up to the end of our broadcast for the first morning session here at Long Beach, as we had 2 cars enter the track for their morning session. Probably going to get a few more this afternoon session. We'll get the broadcast up and running again this afternoon. Get this afternoon session going. We'll probably see a lot more cars on the track. We're going to sign off in about 3 minutes, and Brett's going to take his last lap or 2 here. I don't know if he'll be able to get 2 laps in, but we'll stick with Brett, and we'll ride along with Brett in the cockpit for you. Alright, here he goes on his hot lap. Sorry, 322 kilometers before the first corner. Oh, got a little sideways into the wall there. Got a little tap on the outside retaining wall of the concrete. Setting up for the 3rd sector coming up. He's gone green in the 1st sector. He's yellow in the 2nd sector. Not too good. 3rd sector coming up. All right, 2nd sector time. Let's see if he goes green in the 2nd sector. Nope. Went red in the 2nd sector. We'll see what happens in the final corner coming up. He might be able to get a pull off another lap too. He's got a minute left. Nope, but it's a 1:11.7 on that lap. He's going to pull another lap off. And it's the last lap, 34 seconds. He gets under in the 1st sector, but the 2nd sector doesn't get the lap time in the 2nd sector. Is about even. 3rd sector is the so we'll see what happens in sector 2. He's green in sector 2. See what happens in 3rd sector. Oh, I don't know about that hairpin, but we'll see what happens here as the checkered flag's out for the session. 1:11.408. And that's the end of the session. And that's the end of our telecast for this morning here at Long Beach. I'm Ron Caranci along with Brett Gray signing off from Long Beach. Hopefully you enjoyed our testing.